If you're curious about trying a floor desk setup, one of the most common questions that's probably on your mind is what height your floor desk should be. This was a question we had when we were building our home office years ago, but back then there were few resources on the topic of floor seating, so we had to wing it and make a best guess. Thankfully, what we ultimately landed on wasn't too bad at all, but mistakes were certainly made. If we could do it over again, there are several small but impactful changes we would make to create a much better floor sitting experience. Hopefully, by sharing what we've learned, we can help you avoid making similar mistakes. And by the end of this video, we will also share the table height we would choose if we get to redo our floor desk setups. We think of a floor desk setup as a three-part equation. Before we can determine the ideal height of the desk, we need to first consider two other variables. The first variable is you, the person who will be sitting at the floor desk. How flexible or mobile are you? What are your body proportions? How comfortable are you with different floor sitting positions? Which positions do you intend to use the most? What are your objectives for sitting on the floor? Understanding these factors will affect the rest of this three-part equation. If you're unsure, we recommend starting with a temporary setup, which is easy to create, instead of committing to something permanent right away. In fact, that was what I unintentionally did many years ago. I wanted to improve my mobility and flexibility, so I started placing my laptop on a dining chair and I would regularly squat and kneel to stretch my ankles and hips. This makeshift arrangement worked well for me, and the experience planted the seed in my head that having a workspace closer to the ground could be beneficial for the body. Years later, when designing our new office workspace on the floor, I made a mistake. Eager to sell HL on the idea of working on the floor, we focused on what she would find comfortable. However, our body proportions are different. She's much more flexible. Her requirements and objectives for sitting on the floor are quite different from mine. As a result, the desk height we settled on was tailored to her preferences, but what we should have done was to design two different desks tailored to each one of us. The point is, copying the dimensions of someone else's setup may not always work out perfectly. You have to take into account your goals and what sitting postures are comfortable for your body. Once we have a clearer idea of how we want to sit on the floor, we can move on to what we'll be sitting on.
Our floor chairs have become an iconic part of our workspace over the years. So it may surprise you to know that if we could do it over again, these are not what we would go for. It's not that they are bad chairs. We are happy with their design and build quality, and we still use them for lounging and dining. The issue is, any chair with a backrest allows for passive sitting, where there's little need to engage the muscles of your body. Disengaging our bodies is something we want when we are sleeping or relaxing at the end of the day, but having a backrest on our office chair during the day is counterproductive to our goal of avoiding being sedentary. That said, floor chairs could still be a feasible choice. For example, as a transitional tool for those who are completely new to the practice of floor sitting, where some comfort and support are welcome. If you opt for a floor chair, we recommend leaning on a backrest only when you get really tired. Otherwise, what we used to do was treat the floor chair like a floor cushion by sitting on the edge of the seat. Our preferred option though would be meditation cushions or stools. Not having a backrest encourages active sitting, where we are constantly adjusting and moving to maintain our posture. And elevating our hips above our knees helps with keeping proper spine alignment without unnecessary strain. We find anything between 15 to 20 centimeters to be our sweet spot, allowing us to actively and comfortably sit in a variety of positions while maintaining good posture. Speaking of which, if you want to learn how to sit on the floor with proper form, an oddball suggestion you may not have thought of is through the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. We came across the Meditation 101 class, and not only does it introduce meditation in an accessible, beginner-friendly way, there's also a short segment with helpful tips to relieve strain when floor sitting. Which makes a ton of sense, since sitting on the floor is the foundational posture used in meditation. Skillshare may not be the first thing that comes to mind for learning meditation and floor sitting, But that's part of what makes them the largest online learning community for creatives. There are thousands of diverse classes led by industry experts, including topics like marketing, UI/UX design, film, and productivity. The first 500 to use our link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Make full use of it to learn something new today. And tell us, if you could learn anything from us through a class on Skillshare, what would it be about?
Once you figure out how you'll be sitting on the floor and what you'll be sitting on, determining a good height for your floor desk should be relatively straightforward. If we could redo our floor desk setup, this 3-part equation is the approach we would use. We would experiment with different seat heights to find out what works best for the positions we plan to be in the most. Seated on our chosen sitting surface in a natural upright posture with good alignment, the height at which our elbows would rest will serve as a starting point for the ideal height of our floor desk. On 15 cm tall cushions, there will be around 39 and 44 cm for HL and myself respectively. When in doubt, my personal recommendation is to add a few centimeters of buffer. Err on the side of making the desk slightly taller rather than making it too short. There are no easy ways to quickly adjust a desk that's too short, but there are plenty of ways you can conveniently raise the height of your sitting surface if needed, such as adding a thicker rug, floor mats, or stacking additional cushions. So we hope this has been helpful. All that said, this approach is for those who want to DIY a custom floor desk or ensure that the off-the-rack table they're eyeing is of an appropriate height for their needs. But unlike the old days, today there are more floor sitting options, such as this electric floor-to-standing desk we've been using in this video. If you want to know whether these are worth it, you can watch our review over here. See you again soon.